Now, here's something we see every day in the world of wellness. Almost everyone I meet thinks that tossing a spoonful of tiny black seeds into their morning yogurt or smoothie is a guaranteed ticket to better health. They believe chia seeds are foolproof. You drop them in liquid, stir, and presto, you've secured your fiber and omega-3s for the day, achieving that elusive health in a glass. Nuts, but speaking from a biological perspective, my friend, that simply isn't how our digestive system operates. Chia seeds are indeed nutritional powerhouses, but they require respect. If you're making a few specific, common preparation errors, those little seeds are not just failing to help. They might actually be doing more harm than good, actively sabotaging your digestion, causing unexpected bloating, and perhaps even negatively impacting your blood sugar levels. I want to get to know you better. Write your name and which city you are watching from in the comments below. The fundamental problem we see is a widespread misunderstanding of what a chia seed truly is. It's not just roughage, it's a tiny, powerful survival mechanism wrapped in a neat, absorbent package. For your body to successfully access all those incredible nutrients, the soluble fiber, the healthy fats, the antioxidants, the seed needs to be completely activated. Activation means hydration. And here is where nearly everyone falls critically short. We're talking about improper soaking, and the biggest mistake is often the simplest, using the wrong water ratio. This isn't just about achieving the perfect texture for your breakfast bowl. This is about safety and biological efficacy, especially for individuals entering midlife or those already dealing with sensitive guts or irritable bowel symptoms. When you underhydrate a chia seed, you are essentially creating a delayed action sponge inside your system. Chia seeds are highly hygroscopic, meaning they pull in water aggressively, capable of expanding up to 10 to 12 times their dry weight. If you innocently sprinkle dry seeds into, say, a cup of relatively thick Greek yogurt, or maybe just add a quick tablespoon to a small glass of water and immediately gulp it down, those seeds have not finished their job. They enter your stomach and continue to aggressively absorb any available moisture, and they are incredibly efficient at this process. What do they steal moisture from? Your digestive tract. They pull essential fluids away from the intestinal lining, which acts like a necessary lubricant for smooth motility and comfortable digestion. This internal expansion is powerful, and without that proper lubrication, you end up with slowed digestive movement, uncomfortable stomach cramps, and the very painful constipation you were likely trying to avoid by eating more fiber in the first place. You are attempting to introduce an effective tool for clearing things out, but instead, you are introducing a potential clog, which can be particularly irritating and even dangerous in severe cases where people consume entirely dry seeds without adequate liquid volume immediately surrounding them. To truly transform that dry seed into a functional metabolic gel, what we call mucilage, we need to commit to a specific, non-negotiable ratio of liquid. Think about it this way. You need at least 6 parts water to 1 part chia seed by volume. That translates practically to a simple measurement rule. For every single tablespoon of dry chia you use, you absolutely must use about half a cup of liquid. If your resulting mixture isn't thick, slightly slimy, and fully gelatinous before it ever touches your mouth, you are setting your gut up for a difficult battle. The goal is to fully activate that mucilage externally so it enters your system ready to work as a gentle, lubricating broom, not as a dry, abrasive sponge. This commitment to the ratio is the first line of defense against digestive distress, but it is only the beginning of optimizing this superfood. Even if you get the water ratio perfect, many people make crucial errors regarding how long they let it sit, or even the temperature of the water they choose. Those seemingly small variables are actually the critical gatekeepers that determine whether those seeds truly support your metabolism and stabilize your blood sugar, or, surprisingly, cause an unexpected spike by rendering the fiber inert. We need to look closely at why rushing this process is as dangerous as neglecting it entirely, and how the surrounding environment, including the temperature of your liquid, can ruin the seed's protective, blood sugar regulating benefits before they even reach your small intestine. The most common timing mistake I see in my American clients is the morning rush method. They throw a tablespoon of dry chia into their smoothie, buzz it for 30 seconds, and immediately gulp it down, convinced the blender has done the work. But the mechanical action of a blender, or even rigorous stirring, cannot substitute for the biological time required for hydration. Think of the chia seed's external layer like a highly absorbent sponge wrapped in a protective mesh. That mesh needs sustained contact with water to fully dissolve and release the mucilage. If you only soak it for 5 minutes while you are packing your lunch or checking emails, you are only achieving partial hydration. You may see a slight thickening around the outside, but the core of that seed remains hard, dense, and entirely dry. You have created what is essentially a hybrid fiber, part soothing gel, part abrasive grit. When this semi-hydrated mixture hits your acidic stomach environment, those hard centers finally absorb the rest of the available fluid, leading to unpredictable internal expansion, cramping that can feel like a sudden stitch in your side, and that dreaded sensation of being bloated within minutes of finishing your breakfast. This error isn't just about comfort. It fundamentally ruins the seed's ability to stabilize your blood sugar. The critical metabolic benefit of chia is derived from that thick external mucilage coating, which acts as a physical barrier in your gut, slowing down the entry of glucose into your bloodstream. If the hydration is rushed, the mucilage layer is weak and fragmented. When the seed reaches the small intestine, instead of smoothly regulating the absorption of sugars, the fiber structure collapses, releasing the fats and carbohydrates too quickly. This results in a metabolic surprise, an unexpected blood sugar spike, making the seed counterproductive for anyone managing type 2 diabetes or attempting weight control. To properly secure the metabolic benefit, we are looking for a minimum soaking time of 25 to 30 minutes at room temperature. This duration ensures the structural integrity of the gel is complete, guaranteeing it enters your system as a protective net, not a disorganized heap of fiber particles. And timing is just half the battle. We also have to talk about temperature, because the biological process of mucilage activation is highly sensitive to thermal shifts. Most people either use boiling water, hoping to speed up the process, or ice-cold water, because they prefer a chilled drink. Both extremes undermine the entire purpose of the soak. If you pour hot boiling water, anything over 115 degrees Fahrenheit, onto the seeds, you immediately begin to degrade the structure of the complex polysaccharides that form the gel. Instead of a smooth, uniform, slightly slimy consistency, you often end up with chunky clusters and separated water, similar to what happens when protein powder denatures. This heat treatment strips the seed of its smooth transit capability, leading to potential irritation. Conversely, using extremely cold water, maybe 40 degrees Fahrenheit or less, drastically slows down the rate of absorption. You can soak chia seeds in ice water for an hour, and they will still contain hard, unhydrated centers, which, once again, will expand inside your digestive tract and pull moisture away from your system. The golden zone for optimal mucilage formation is lukewarm water, around 86 to 100 degrees Fahrenheit, or standard room temperature. This gentle warmth facilitates the release and integration of the gel structure smoothly, ensuring maximum efficacy and comfort. We've established the strict protocols for preparation, the ratio, the time, and the temperature. But the final hurdle that trips people up is how they combine this perfectly prepared gel with other ingredients. You can follow every rule and still sabotage your efforts by pairing your chia pudding with the wrong partners. The common mistake here is thinking that because the fiber gel is sturdy, it can handle anything you throw at it. The problem is one of density. When you mix your perfectly prepared lukewarm chia gel with extremely dense ingredients, think thick Greek yogurt, massive scoops of protein isolate powder, or a rich, fatty coconut milk base, you effectively suffocate the mucilage. The purpose of the gel is to create a sleek, slippery, protective layer that ensures a slow, even release of nutrients through your stomach and intestines. When combined with heavy fats or massive amounts of concentrated protein, the entire mixture becomes too sticky, too viscous, and too slow. Instead of regulating absorption, you create a roadblock, drastically slowing down gastric emptying. This can lead to a heavy, sluggish feeling, negating the comfortable digestive support we were aiming for. The best partners for activated chia are water-rich, light components, thin nut milks, fresh berries, a splash of lemon juice, or even just plain water. Another way people undermine the benefits is by using them in baking. If you're adding chia seeds to a batch of muffins, pancakes, or homemade bread, please understand that you are using them purely for texture and perhaps the raw nutrient profile, but you are absolutely destroying the metabolic function of the mucilage. Temperatures exceeding 140 degrees Fahrenheit, which is standard oven heat, instantly denature and degrade the complex polysaccharides that form the gel. The structural integrity is lost. When the mucilage is destroyed, the seeds revert to acting like disorganized, rough fiber particles. While still beneficial as roughage, they lose their unique ability to form that smooth, regulating netting inside your gut that manages blood sugar stability. If your goal is metabolic management and smooth digestion, avoid using prepared chia gel or seeds in anything that requires high heat. And finally, we have to talk about shelf life. If you treat perfectly hydrated chia gel like dry flour, something that can sit in the cabinet indefinitely, you are inviting a new set of problems. Once activated, chia gel is highly perishable. It is essentially a fresh food. Most people prepare a big batch on Sunday, stick it in the fridge, and expect it to be fine all week. That is where we run into trouble. Even under refrigeration, the moment you add water and create that wonderful nutrient-rich gel environment, you initiate a countdown. After about 48 hours, especially if the seeds were not stored in an airtight glass container, you run the risk of slow, subtle fermentation and microbial activity. This is not necessarily dangerous in the short term, but the pH begins to shift. For anyone managing a sensitive digestive system, such as those prone to IBS flares or histamine sensitivities, this slight degradation can be enough to trigger discomfort. Instead of a fresh, pH-neutral regulator, you are consuming a mildly fermented product which changes the dynamics inside your gut. To secure maximum efficacy and comfort, think of activated chia gel like a prepared smoothie or a fresh salad. It needs to be consumed within 48 hours. When you treat the preparation protocols, the ratio, the time, the temperature, the combination, and the storage, with the respect the seed demands, you transform it from a potentially problematic fiber source into the powerful, resilient metabolic ally it's advertised to be. When you treat the preparation protocols, the ratio, the time, the temperature, the combination, and the storage, with the respect the seed demands, you transform it from a potentially problematic fiber source into the powerful, resilient metabolic ally it's advertised to be. So, let's wrap everything we've discussed into one simple, actionable plan. The only routine you need to follow to guarantee you are getting maximum benefit and zero digestive stress from chia seeds. Here is your 4-step protocol for unlocking the full potential of chia. First, you must master the gold standard ratio. Forget the 1-to-1 or 2-to-1 ratios you see in quick recipes online. To achieve complete hydration and form the strong, protective mucilage barrier, you need a minimum 6:1 ratio of liquid to seed. Practically, this means for every single tablespoon of chia seeds you use, you must add at least half a standard measuring cup of water, or 4 fluid ounces. If you're making a large batch, just keep that 6:1 volume ratio consistent. Do not skip this step. It is the non-negotiable foundation that prevents internal expansion and all the associated bloating and cramping. Second, optimize the activation environment. Skip the ice water. It unnecessarily slows down the process and often leaves hard, unyielding centers in the seeds. Instead, use slightly lukewarm water, around 90 to 95 degrees Fahrenheit, which feels comfortably warm but not hot to the touch. Once the seeds are in the water, stir them well to prevent clumping and let them rest at room temperature for a full 20 to 30 minutes. This generous time ensures that every single seed has fully expanded, activated its mucilage, and transformed into a smooth, digestible gel, ready to perform its blood sugar stabilizing work without drawing water from your system. Third, respect the mucilage when combining foods. Remember, the gel structure is delicate and works best when it can flow and interact with liquids. Do not bury your freshly prepared chia gel in heavy, dense foods like thick, full-fat Greek yogurt, massive scoops of nut butter, or protein powders that soak up too much residual moisture. Pair your chia gel with water-rich, light components, thin almond or oat milks, water, smoothies, or fruit juices. And most importantly, strictly avoid using the prepared gel or seeds in any recipe that requires high heat, like baking. If you are using chia seeds in a muffin recipe, understand you are using them purely for rough fiber and texture, but you have destroyed the metabolic netting that controls glucose absorption. Finally, adhere to the freshness guarantee. Chia gel is a fresh food, not a pantry staple. Once you activate the seeds by adding liquid, you start a biological countdown. Store your prepared gel immediately in an airtight glass container in the refrigerator and plan to consume the entire batch within 48 hours. After 2 days, the nutritional profile and the stabilizing pH of the gel begin to degrade due to subtle microbial activity. Sticking to the 48-hour rule ensures maximum efficacy, optimal taste, and the lowest possible risk of triggering sensitive digestive issues. By adopting these 4 simple habits, the 6-for-1 ratio, the warm 30-minute soak, thoughtful pairings, and the 48-hour fresh protocol, you take control of your digestive health and truly harness the amazing power of these tiny seeds for stable blood sugar and long-term vitality. This is how you stop treating this powerful tool like a generic sprinkle and start using it as the targeted health ally it was always meant to be. If you want more evidence-based information on nutrition and daily habits that transform your health, make sure you are subscribed to Much More Health. Now I want to know if you liked the video. Leave a rating from 0 to 10 in the comments so we know if we are on the right track.